Hello, hello, you beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle. We talk all things life, love, spirituality, law of attraction, all of that juicy goodness. We are here for our midweek reading. Today's energy has been supercharged, and I normally film the midweek reading on Monday or Tuesday, and today is Monday, and there was such an energy this morning. I had multiple people messaging me, fast movement. One person was like, I have to make a huge business decision. I don't know what to do. I can't hear my intuition. What should I do? And then I had another client who was like, I need to quit my job. My boss just sent me this really nasty email. And then I had another client in Italy. She's ready to like close down her restaurant business. And then I had another client who received her very first like big manifestation, not big, but just like she's been waiting for communication from the universe for months. And she started to create stuff for a podcast, and out of nowhere, she got $500. So the universe was confirming that she was on the right path with the podcast by bringing her the $500. So today has been insane. I got a little bit of a manifestation too. I got an offer to talk at Jefferson Hospital, which is in Philadelphia, and I'm going to be speaking to 40 people who have MS, and just kind of filling them with good energy and hope and healing energy, and teaching them about the thoughts and how the thoughts and the feelings can generate personal healing. So it was a huge thing that dropped in today. And they're a nonprofit organization, so I'm so pumped to be working with them. But I don't know about you all, as I always say, but today's energy is wild. So I was like, I gotta do the midweek reading today because the energy is so intense. So let's call in our guides. I'm also gonna do my candlesticks around Micah. And I got that manifestation this morning before 10 a.m. And yesterday I did like a little love and abundance ceremony in my house. I do that every once in a while, usually only when I really like need something. I'll sit down and do a ceremony. And I went to lunch with a friend yesterday, and I just could feel the energy for everybody. Like it's like everybody needs something. We're needing just a small manifestation or releasing from a certain job. So if you're feeling that, if you're here for this reading to get messages, we are going to dive right in, because I'm feeling that energy too in my life. Like, what am I doing? I need to stop all of my patterns. I want to make better decisions in my life. Make sure we drop this before we call in our guides. So we're going to really ask our guides to bring us what we need today. Okay, Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, please open sacred space. Please only allow the highest and whitest light messages to come through. Bless me, bless our cards, bless my viewers. Bring us exactly the message we need to survive what we're all going through right now. Please bring us the right guidance, give us the strength, maybe give us the messages that we need to listen to what our soul is really telling us to do. Maybe give us guidance on whether to go out in nature, whether to journal. We would be so, 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 so grateful. It is not easy navigating this path, let me tell you. And I know you guys all know. And my phone just lit up as I said that. So, amen. Okay, we're going to start with a spirit animal. Whatchamacallit? Spirit animal book. I always use this book when I'm in distress. It's my very first book that I ever got on spirit animals that I used to pull before I needed to leave my teaching job. So if you're struggling with a big decision, this message is for you. And we stop left side. The owl. Meditate in silence and in darkness for a few minutes each evening for the next few days and see what is revealed to you. Angels, you are too much. This is perfect. It says, be alert to any deception on the part of others. Whether they're aware of it or not, look closely behind any guises that they may wear. This is particularly right period to tap into the fount of intuitive wisdom that's available to you. It says fountain, not fountain. Quietly observe your environment, watching and listening for signs and omens that will give you the answers to any questions you may have. Now is a particularly significant time for prophecy. You will see, hear, or feel events before they actually happen. Your most creative cycle now is the night. So set aside time in the evening to work on any projects. This is so unique because I also there's something called the barn owl. So I'm going to read that to you guys too, because I feel like there's a message in there. But when it said your most creative cycle is now at night, I literally woke up at 3 a.m., got in my Jeep. It was freezing, and the left side of my Jeep, the heat doesn't work. So I need to take care of myself. I know I'm not, but waiting for the manifestations to drop in so I can do those things. But I was like, I couldn't be in my apartment another second. I was feeling that squeeze. Like I needed answers. I wanted to just think. So I went for a drive, and the moon was incredibly beautiful. I had never been out in nature where I felt like I was just struck by the moon. And I was driving, and I literally almost pulled over, but I was on this one road. It was farmland, so there was no houses. It was just a 2-lane road, complete flat land, and just the moon and the stars. And I literally was just crying in my Jeep, just wanting answers in my own life, wondering what I should be doing. I haven't received any breadcrumbs or feedback in a while, whether I'm on the right path or whether I should be expanding in some way. Money just completely stopped. I mean, I have my typical clients that I always have, but normally I have like a little bit more coming in. So I'm so strapped. And thank you for anybody who's always praying for me. You're amazing. For those people that comment on my channel and say that you're wishing for more abundance for me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're all in it together. We're doing it together. But it's wild that this is saying that, because it said meditate in silence and in the darkness. And then it says your most creative cycle now is the night, which I am not somebody who is creative at night. So maybe there's some sort of shift in the energy where we are being called to be up in the night, to be listening. Okay. So now let's do the barn owl. And I have November 10th. I don't know why I wrote that date, but I wrote November 10th and I circled it. It says, since life is so short, treat every day as precious and live it to the fullest. Let your heart be open, and don't let fear get in the way of expressing your love. Do a house clearing and a blessing, one that will incorporate a way to free up any lost spirits that need to move on. Take a silent retreat somewhere away from the usual noise, whether for a few hours or a couple days. You're entering into a period of considerable abundance. Ooh, easily fulfilling your needs with minimal effort. Don't we love that? It says this is a time requiring considerable adaptability and ingenuity in all of your dealings. Whenever you need help, call upon the spirits of your ancestors, and as long as your plea is sincere, they will help you. I really love that. You're entering into a period of considerable abundance. Our abundance is going to drop in. It's going to drop in. And sometimes we have to, for those clients of mine who I was texting this morning, like we have to leave things behind. We have to say goodbye to things. We have to move on. And even though that was talking about like, family members who've passed away or spirits that might be in your home that need to move on, sometimes they're there to push us to move out of something. I firmly believe that my dad and my daughter, they show up in my life when I need to take action, when I need to do something. And it is not a fun feeling to know that you have to do something, but you don't know what to do yet. So that's why we were being guided to sit in silence and in the darkness, go out at night, go underneath the moon, and just ask to be led, ask for them to take the burden. And I just got a visual of somebody crying because they're feeling abandoned. Whether you feel abandoned by spirit, whether you feel abandoned by somebody else, maybe you're getting a divorce, or maybe you're going through a breakup and you just feel that that ripping your heart out type of energy. This is what I want you to do. When you feel that with anybody, if somebody's not texting you back, if somebody is just abandoning you in any way, I want to make sure her wings aren't catching on fire. If anybody's abandoning you in any way, this is the key. This is going to save your heart. Okay. So the minute you feel that energy, you find a quiet space, you drop down to your knees like you're about to pray, and you put your right arm against your left shoulder, your left arm against your right shoulder, and you just sit there and you say, what do I need right now? How am I feeling right now? And I guarantee within 5 minutes, you're going to start crying as if you're that little kid who's been abandoned, who's in their room. Maybe they're being bullied by friends at school. Maybe they're being ignored by their parents, or they're being left alone for hours at a time. Or maybe you're being abused or diminished or taken advantage of. And you're just going to sit there and you're going to hug your version of you at that age where you were abandoned. Somebody was not caring for you, and you're going to hold that version of you and you're going to say, I love you. You're not alone. I got you. I got you. I got you. You are not alone. I'm here. I'm here. Nobody's going to leave you. And the more you say it, I've learned to do this practice, and it is so powerful how quickly the feeling, the gut feeling where you feel sick to your stomach because somebody's choosing somebody else or flirting with somebody else or texting somebody else, the minute you give yourself what you're looking to get from that person, the feeling goes away. That sick feeling in your stomach or that tightness in your chest, it all just dissolves. Because what's really happening is you're searching outside of yourself from this unattainable love that you think is going to make you happy when somebody accepts you, because you're trying to fix your childhood. You're trying to go back to your childhood and you're trying to finally get that love that you didn't get from your parents. And in that moment, that's exactly what that feeling is in your body. So to resolve it, you can't get that feeling from somebody else. It will never work. You won't get that feeling from money. You won't get that feeling from food or from sex or from porn or for anything or from anything. You can only get it by finding a quiet space, being with yourself, holding yourself and saying, I'm here. I'm going to love you. And you think about yourself and all the wonderful things you've done in your life, and you just cheer. It's like you cheer yourself on in that moment. And you also just say, it's okay to be sad. You were neglected. You were abandoned. And once you allow it to be there, that awful feeling goes away. And then you get to go back into your partnership, or you get to go back into just your own brain and not feel so awful. It literally dissolves. Okay. So please remember that practice. Keep that clear. Okay. So I went to lunch yesterday with my friend Hollis, and she is an artist, and she created her own deck of cards, and they're so beautiful. And she used her dad's photography. How awesome is that? So some of it is her daughter's photography, but it's like her family made this deck together, and they're all little affirmations that say, I am. So we're going to get a message for all of you. Whoa. To see what you need to hear today. Thank you, Hollis. Thank you. I think her dad's name is Art. Did I remember that correctly? Let me know if I'm wrong or right. I think it's Art. No, not Art. Her husband's name is Arthur. What is her dad's name? I saw it on the card. Okay. Let's see what photo we're gonna get. I am creative beyond a pencil and a paintbrush. I love that. Beautiful. A beach photo. So somebody is being called to go by the water. And that was one of my friends who has a big decision to make this morning. The first thing I said to her, she's like, I can't hear my intuition. I've been trying to meditate. And I said, get your butt out in nature. Nature is the ultimate way to tune in, to tap in, and to listen. Okay, we can't be around people. We can't be around things. We can't be around noise. We have to quiet everything else and then quiet the chatter in your brain. And nature does that. Nature turns the chatter off after like the first 5 to 10 minutes. And then you can kind of hear like what's really needing to be said. So this reminds me of my conversation with her this morning. So I think this is coming out now to tell you guys, if you need to really tune into a big decision, get your cute little heinies outside, maybe barefoot, maybe naked, go for a hike, go to the mountains, go to the ocean, and just be there for a little bit. And then ask yourself the question, what feels right for me right now? What would feel good for me to do right now? And you'll get your answer. Your intuition, we are made up of every element that's in nature. Our blood in our blood and the water in our bodies represents the water in nature. Our bones represent the stones and all the yumminess in nature. The air we breathe is the wind and the air. So there's so many different connections that when we're in nature, it's like we mold back into what created us, if that makes sense. I know I'm not doing a good job of explaining it, but we match nature basically. So when we are in nature, we're back home and we can kind of like submerge into Mother Earth. And then the ego has no place. The ego is not welcome there. So the ego kind of falls asleep. It just magically, just goes away. And you feel the abundance in nature. You feel the joy. And you're like, oh my gosh. And as I said, joy, tell me I did not just get these two cards. Two of Cups at the bottom of the deck, which is a celebration between two people. And then we have Six of Wands. This is victory. You made it. You made the right choice. You're in the spotlight. And I got that card this morning for myself from the Light Seers Tarot deck. It's very symbolic. See the wreath on the wand? You are now, the journey is over. It's almost like the journey is over, but something's just beginning. Whatever grueling thing you've been in for so long is finally coming to an end. And now you get to receive that love, that recognition, that abundance, that success. This is like a total, you're being recognized for your success. You made it. And when this card comes out, this normally represents partnership and love. So for some of you, it might be a long, grueling road of two people being apart, and now they're finally going to be together. Okay, I don't even remember grabbing this deck. Did I tell you guys which deck this is? This is the Rider-Waite Tarot. Temperance, the balancing. Okay, so this is equal give and take. I fill your cup up, you fill my cup up. I fill your cup up, you fill mine up. And it's a healing energy. It's like you're dipping your toes in the water. Water represents emotions. And this morning when I was getting ready and doing certain things, I filled up my water bottle, right? And then I also had a cacao drink. I like to drink cacao in the morning. It's a heart opener. It's a little bit of my caffeine. So I'm starting my mornings with cacao, and I do cacao with coconut milk and oat milk, vanilla, like creamer oat milk, a tiny, tiny bit of coffee, but most of it is the chocolatey vanilla kind of milkshakey type of vibe. But as I was making it, my water bottle overfilled. Like as I was filling up my water, I overfilled it for some reason. And then I did the same thing with my coffee. So when we're talking about our intuition and how it talks to us and how we get signs from the universe, I paused and I said, hold the phone. What is my intuition trying to tell me? And I think it's this. It was like 2 cups of love overflowing. So this is not a coincidence right now that we're getting this card in this reading. And I literally had 2 cups this morning that overflowed. This is like your love cup is so full that you're so in love with whoever you're in love with, and they're feeling that way in return. You've got them right kind of like where you've always wanted them, but you don't even know that they're there kind of energy. They're just so in love with you and you're so in love with them. That's what those 2 cups overflowing for me today. That's what they meant. And that's because you guys did the work. And it's very unique that I got this card this morning for myself, and then we got the male. Is it a male? Could be a woman. I can't really tell. So it could be a same-sex partnership if it's 2 women. But either way, it's just 2 people in partnership who are finally being seen And I just heard, you're not being seen by the public. The universe is rewarding you for all the inner work that you've done, all the healing, all the sessions, all the work, all the journaling, all the self-reflection, the trying, the willing to bare your soul to be better and to stop the patterns in your family. That's what this is. And I could cry right now just thinking about how grueling somebody out there has had a really, really tough path, and it's finally over. You're finally going to get to feel what this feels like. And it's because of that activity I just had you guys do a little bit ago. It's not somebody else filling your cup up. Here's temperance, right? It's one person, and they've balanced their energy so much that they know how to fill their own cup up, that when they come into partnership, it's like the most beautiful, peaceful connection, because they each filled their own cup up, and they're like, hey, you want some of my cup? And he's like, sure, you want some of my cup? And they're so full that it's just like an explosion of love. But that's because in the moments of the abandonment and the neglect and all those things, it's like, oh, I know how to handle myself now. I'm not going to get jealous anymore. I'm not going to be vindictive or just those toxic old patterns. They're gone. They've burned away. And because you don't do the toxic patterns anymore, you have a connection with somebody that is just so pure and honest and open. And it's a success. And I'm telling you, this might not even be a partnership, but this is somebody who literally, you just had a huge breakthrough moment in your life, and the universe has spoken to you. The universe has shown you your magic, and you're realizing that I can do this. I can do this journey. I can be successful. And I just imagine somebody like working out really hard, or taking that action step to eat healthier or to be a better person, and they're not being swayed by the temptations, because there is temptation out there, especially right now with the way the world is. There's a ton of temptation. Whatever your pattern is, the universe will bring you more people to see if you've overcome it. And you guys know what your patterns are, so I don't even need to give an example of that. But if your pattern is a certain drug, or like porn or flirting, the universe will bring you beautiful women walking, or beautiful men walking by you. And it's like, hey, are you going to fall for this one? Or are you going to stay true to what you signed up for? Because you signed up to not do this anymore. And that's like normally the awesome test that the universe brings us. All right, we're going to do Micah magic. It's an emotional time. Be gentle with yourself. Call that person. And I almost just put this card on the Two of Cups. So in this reading, it's saying, reach out. If you've been thinking about speaking your truth to somebody and just coming out with it and just saying, hey, let's talk, or I need to talk to you, or I need to say this, like if you're needing to get something off your chest, it's an emotional time. So you might need support with whatever you're going through. If you're going through a breakup, please call that person that you're thinking of. They're going to help you move into this energy. They're going to help you get that feedback from the universe that you're safe and you're protected. Okay, sorry. Making sure that's not anybody in my family needing anything. We are good to go. Okay, it's an emotional time. Be gentle with yourself. Call that person. Let's get some Angel Wisdom Tarot. Actually, no, I just heard Light Seers. So this is Chris Ann's Light Seers Tarot. Thank you, Spirit. The High Priestess. All about meditation again. She has the answers. Her intuition is spot on. She knows exactly what to do. So you know exactly what to do. You guys have all the answers within you. And I know it can be scary. And if you look at the top, she has some white and then she has some dark. So she's balancing her light with her shadow. The shadow represents your patterns, seeing your patterns. Ooh, I just got a good message. The moon. So the moon last night, it was just like the moon on her head. It was crescent full moon, not a full moon, a crescent moon, but it was so beautiful. And that's exactly what it looked like in the sky last night. But when the moon is like that, it is shining a light on the shadow. So it is making all of your patterns and all the things that you're not supposed to be doing. It makes it louder. It makes it more clear. It makes it like, you need to fix this. You need to change this. And it gets louder and louder and louder. So that's what this energy is. It's showing you where something in your life is not working. It's shedding light on the shadow. Oh, I feel that in my bones. Oh, that energy is so hard. So hard to deal with. Nobody wants to really see what they've been unconsciously doing for years, you know? And then what comes after that? The most sunniest card in the deck, the happiest card in the deck, the sun card. These is my Leos. So this is kind of like you bringing in energy of, I got this. I can overcome this. I can do it. I'm taking action. So you're really just stepping up to the plate and saying, shine a light on all my shadows. I don't care. I am a beautiful soul and I deserve abundance. I deserve the sunshine. I deserve love. This could also mean when you tune in to make that decision, like when you're listening to your intuition, you're like, what should I do? What should I do? I don't know. And then you finally make the decision. This is the result. You get rewarded. You are a success. So whatever decision you're needing to make, the scales are going to be balanced. You're going to make the right choice. You can trust yourself. That's the first thing I texted my client was, you can trust yourself. And these are all women in these photos. So I'm sensing it's like divine feminine energies that are needing to do this. But it could be a man holding a divine feminine energy, but I just wanted to add that in there. That message isn't for everybody. Okay. I keep seeing the "You are the sunshine in their life" card that I have in my Micah magic deck. That just keeps popping into my head. You're the sunshine in their life. Whoa. Okay. So we have a bunch. We're going to take all of these. They all came out in a little bundle. And I just heard bundle as in baby. Somebody's going to be pregnant soon. Somebody's bringing a soul in. And I just saw twin flame. So when you two come together, when two twin flames come together, guess what you're going to be doing? You're going to be making a baby. There's a soul that wants to come in. I just heard it's a little boy. There's a little boy that wants to come in. So when you two get together, get ready to be parents for the second, third, first time. And I said time, trust the timing. Walking away from what doesn't serve you. And be mindful of your thoughts. So if you are making a choice to leave something, like we talked about my clients that are wanting to like leave jobs or do certain things, I'm actually going to take this off. It keeps getting in the way. If you're wanting to leave that job, you have to think about what are you telling yourself about it? Because you don't want to attract, you guys know I teach on my channel, if you don't know this, that the way the universe works, if you are in a panicked energy when you leave a job, you then attract another job in that same energy. So you don't want to leave a job in, I hate that job. I hate that person. Oh my gosh, I'm so frustrated. Like, get me out of here. I need something better. You want to hold the phone right there. Stop thinking those thoughts. And you're going to say, thank you, universe. When I do my little prayer hands like this, it's like a little child, like, thank you, being gentle. Thanks for the lessons. Thanks for teaching me what I don't want, but I would love to move on. Thank you for this boss who treated me poorly, because now I know how I won't treat people. Thank you for helping me heal this, because this coworker was so vindictive or mean or catty, and now I know that I was attracting that because of childhood. So you thank the universe for the job, and then you call in a new job. So being mindful, that's the message that goes with this card. You are really looking at your thoughts before you're leaving something that doesn't serve you. Okay? Even if it's a partnership, always remember this. If you're leaving anything, you're leaving it with gratitude. Okay? You're saying, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, because that gratitude attracts more things to be grateful for. All right. Just heard Light Seers Tarot, so we're going to do that again. 10 of Pentacles. Matches my shirt. Meant to be that I was meant to take off my shawl. All right, so 10 of Pentacles. So look at the chandelier. Look at all the kids, the dog. This is like you have everything. This is the complete abundance card. So pentacles represent earthly possessions. This is the home, the car, the yard, the backyard, the sauna, the cold plunge, all the cool things that you might want to have in your house. Maybe a cool movie room, or I always imagine my living room, or not my living room, but my office space has like floral wallpaper and like really beautiful couches and pillows and poofs and stuff. And then on the wall is a picture of me holding my lottery check after winning the lottery. So when I get this card, that's the visual that I always have for myself. It's my imaginal act that I do before bed, is I imagine a photo on my new house of me holding a lottery check. So that's a little call to action right there for any of you guys. If you want to manifest anything, think about the end result and what it looks like. What does it feel like? Are you walking into that office like so pumped that you got this new house? Or maybe you had your own business and you're building your business and it's made you all this abundance, and now you can travel with your family and you imagine your family walking down the aisle of the plane. Queen of Swords. So she is getting clarity on what she wants. So when I talked about being mindful of your thoughts, the Queen of Swords is all about, she can be very cutting, she can be very cold, she can kind of be like a bitchy energy. And one of my friends just came through my phone as I said bitchy energy. I'll have to joke with her about that and be like, universe is calling you a bitch. But she's totally not. But she's actually like my most honest friend. So this is probably for her. But being mindful of your thoughts. So she's sitting up top here, listening to spirit. She's in meditation. She's feeling the breeze in her hair. Look at her hair's blowing in the wind. She's tuning into that voice. She is kind of like that high priestess energy, even though those two cards, I wouldn't necessarily always put them two together. But she's listening. She's listening for that inner guidance. And because you made it here, the reason why, and somebody just sent me a bee, which is a sign for my dad. His birthday's tomorrow. You made it here because you were her. You got so clear on your manifestations and you didn't give up. So the Queen of Swords is like cutthroat, right? She's like, I am not giving up. I'm going to keep going. You know, nothing is going to get in my way. If anything gets in my way, I am using my sword. And I just got a great visual. So the ego is your fear, right? Your ego is going to tell you, stay small. You don't deserve this. Stay in your shame. You should feel guilty for doing X, Y, and Z. And you don't deserve to be alive. And all of these lies, you can't show up on social media and share yourself because you're not pretty enough, or you're not strong enough to do this thing, or you're stupid with your money. All of those thoughts that my clients have, that is all your ego, right? So if you can picture yourself with a sword, and every time that voice creeps in, it's like you are taking that sword and cutting those words. You're like, no, you're not going to enter my field. You're cutting the words. They're falling into pieces right in front of you, and they don't reach your energetic field. Any doubt or fear that comes your way, you are the Queen of Swords, and you're like, screw that. I'm not going to think that ever again. I refuse to push away the good that I want in my life. I deserve to be seen. I deserve abundance. I deserve this life. And I'm so glad that they just gave me that the analogy of cutting with the sword, like, because that's what she's so good at. She's so good at like cutting through the BS. But a lot of us, that voice that's telling you that you're not worthy of having good things, that voice is the voice of the inner child in you that was abused, abandoned, neglected as a little kid. Okay, so it is such like this, it's just a replay. You're replaying everything that happened to you as a kid, and you're just retelling it to yourself when it was somebody else telling it to you or making you feel a certain way. You're now just repeating that. It's like a tape player. You're hitting play on it and saying, okay, I'm going to keep telling myself this for the rest of my life. No, we're not doing it. We are cutting those words up and we are throwing them out. We're not allowing them into our energetic field because we deserve to have this. We deserve it. We deserve it. We deserve it. Okay, what do I want to do next? My nose keeps running. I think it's because I'm a little chilly, even though my shawl was driving me nuts. I should have known not to wear it because if I need my hands to do the cards, it can't be getting in the way. Where are you staying quiet in your life? Speak your truth. Don't shy away from uncomfortable conversations. This is where growth occurs. This is that call that person card. This is show up on social media. Put yourself out there. Don't be afraid. It's just that voice from childhood that's telling you you're not allowed to be seen and it's not safe to be seen and people are going to judge you. People are going to criticize you. It is a false voice inside of you that's creating this story that everybody's going to be out to get you when you put yourself out there. And it's not real. It feels real because you felt it in a past life. Maybe you felt it in your childhood. This is what normally happens. So everyone pay attention. This is a huge thing that I learned from my mentor. Say you were, oh man, low battery. Hold on, be right back. Okay, we're back. We're all charged up. So what I was saying was my mentor taught me that when, say in a past life, which most of us female oracles, intuitives, we were burned at the stake or stoned, or we were just killed publicly. There was like some awful stories of burning with, I forget the name for it. I can't even think of the name for it. The stuff you use in your fireplace, the metal rods, like them using that on us. So like the fear of speaking up and being who we are, our DNA remembers being killed in a past life for doing that. So your fear of starting a podcast, starting a YouTube channel, starting Instagram, and I can attest to this, I have the biggest fear of speaking. And like it was to the point where I was on a Zoom one time and I had to speak in front of like 10 people, and I closed the Zoom after I said like a couple sentences and my teeth were chattering and I fell to the floor and started sobbing because I thought I was going to die. I thought somebody was going to come kill me in that moment. And I was by myself in my apartment, but that's how visceral it is. So what happens is if that happens in a past life, right? And you have this fear of putting yourself out there because you know that that might have happened to you and you just can feel it in your bones. Well, what happens is in this lifetime, that fear gets reinforced with a situation from childhood. So for example, say a little girl was abused for speaking up and speaking the truth. Maybe she got hit by her dad every time she said something wrong, or maybe she was saying something truthful and he hit her across the face. So now that fear of speaking in a past life is already there, right? It's already in her bones. And now she's having another experience in this lifetime of it repeating itself. She's experiencing again being crucified for saying something. So now as an adult, her mission, her sole mission is to be a speaker. And she has to overcome this fear. So it's an illusion, right? Like she can go speak, like nobody's going to kill her. But the illusion is so incredibly real because she feels it in her body. So if you are somebody out there and you're watching this right now going, oh my gosh, is that why I fear putting myself out there, speaking in groups, why I fear public or why I fear social media in a certain way? Maybe you're in a group chat and you fear sending a message because you're like, what if I have a typo or something and everyone thinks I'm stupid? That could all be from that same trauma. And it gets reinforced in this lifetime, which makes it even harder to overcome. Okay, so, and I'm speaking to this because this is my life. This is what I've experienced. And this is why I have such a huge fear of public speaking, but I'm doing it and you can do it too. I am proof that when you get to the root of it and you work with somebody and you get to and you understand it, you have to understand why you feel the way you feel. Because once that clicks, you're like, oh my gosh, it makes sense now. And that could be, a session with me, we uncover it. It could be a Reiki session with a healer. It could be going and doing plant medicine and having a vision of it. And energy is moving big right now. But your fear, whatever it is that you fear, maybe it's fearing success. Maybe in a past life, guess what? Maybe in a past life, you were a king or a queen somewhere and you had this lavish life. What if you lost it all? Right? What if you lost everything and then you were like homeless? And maybe you were the type of person that didn't have very healthy relationships because you made it to the top. So now nobody was willing to help you when you were homeless. And now in this lifetime, what if you grew up homeless? What if you grew up in foster care? What if you grew up feeling like something got taken from you, or you're ungrounded, you're not safe somewhere? And now in this lifetime, you have to learn the tools to rebuild yourself to get to here. So that's how our soul journey, the hero's journey, kind of works, is we have some sort of thing to overcome. We have this fear that our soul chose to pick for this lifetime, right? And it's like, okay, I'm going to be a speaker in this lifetime, but I'm going to have to move through all of this past stuff around speaking. So it's like we are getting 2 speak your truth cards. Call that person, which is the same thing, and speak your truth. And that can come with, expressing love to somebody. What if you have a deep fear of rejection? Maybe in a past life, your partner in this lifetime, maybe they, left you and cheated on you. Or I always have these weird visions for me. I always have a weird vision that my partner, like, we were at war, like our country was at war or something, and I was home with our son and he was out like gallivanting at like brothels with women and sleeping around, and I was home, and me and my son like ended up dying because he was out being with other women. Like I always have weird dreams about that, and I'm like, did I experience that in a past life? Because I'm just like, man, that must have been really painful if I did, to know that my protector, the person that was supposed to be protecting me, was not protecting our country. He was just getting his needs met elsewhere, and he left us to die. So that, like, imagine that kind of wound. Like our past lives are so wild. The stuff we probably have been through that we don't even know about. It sounds like movie like we would only see it on a movie in this lifetime. But there's some people that have experienced some horrific things in this lifetime that I don't want to say that. So I'm sorry if that was crass. I apologize if you've been through something like really, really awful like that. I'm sending you so much love. But when we talk about past lives, it's usually like back in like the 1600s or the 1700s, and this happened, and we're being staked and stoned and all these things. So that's just different. The way we live now is what I meant. So forgive me if I offended anybody. I always want to be careful with what I say because I really don't want to. I want to be gentle with people and their losses. But when I think about past lives, I'm thinking about movies because it feels so foreign, but yet the past life energy feels so real in this life. And that's why I was bringing up that energy of, say you had a partner who chose somebody else in a past life, or maybe they died and they abandoned you, or like what I have, the memory of mine, like that is now going to be reinforced in this lifetime, where I might be terrified to be in a partnership with somebody because I don't ever want to experience what I experienced in the past life. That losing my partner, or, being cheated on so many times, when I know that that happened in a past life. So the activity that I gave you guys in the beginning of this reading, hugging yourself and loving yourself, that is going back and kind of revisiting that wound from a past life and giving yourself that nurturing energy, where somebody might have left you in a past life, or maybe you left them, maybe you died early, and you're forgiving yourself maybe for what you did. Maybe you were the cheater or maybe you abandoned that person, and you have to forgive yourself and let go of that shame, because it's no longer, it's not important anymore. What's important is that we choose this in this lifetime, and we stop the cycle of pain and patterns. Okay, let's do love and light. Actually, no, we're gonna do, because we're talking about relationships and patterns, we're gonna do the Sex Magic Tarot. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to show you the photo that I get because it's risque and YouTube kind of blocks it. I think we can do this one. We got the Star card. So this symbolizes when two people come together. So if you guys are familiar with the twin flame journey, normally the feminine awakens first. She goes through all of her healing. She does it on her own with like a mentor or friends or healing groups, retreats. Sometimes she sparks her masculine to awaken, and then they can't finally be together until she has fully stepped into the light. So when she is fully healed, she steps into the light. She's like, look at me, I'm doing my mission. I got it figured out. I'm healing my patterns. I'm releasing my shame, my guilt. Well, when that happens, that activates the masculine energetically. So your counterpart gets activated, and all of a sudden they get sucked into their healing journey. But what normally happens is they come together. Like when she's in her light and she's successful, he's then drawn to her. And I think I can show this photo. There's no other naked parts, so it's good. So what happens is he begins his healing with her. So masculines, you are so lucky because you get to heal with your feminine. She gets to pour her love juice all over you, and she gets to nurture you as you heal, as you let go of your shame, and you get to be in her arms as you do it. So that's the beauty of the twin flame. They say the twin flame connection is that the feminine goes first and she does all that grueling work by herself. And then she has the tools, she has the elixir, and can guide her masculine now to open up his chakras and to feel safe and to let go of his fear of rejection or his shame or his guilt. And a lot of times I'm going to get another card. The shame and the guilt is from past lives. So we are mending these ripped open hearts that have been this way for I don't know how many years. They call it a tear in our soul. I've heard many people call it that. Many spiritual teachers call it, there's been a tear in our soul back in Atlantis time, Lemuria, where, maybe our men were going off to war and we never saw them again and we were just ripped apart. So when you come in contact in this lifetime, it can feel like you don't even want to go close to the person because it's so scary to lose them. It is so painful, the thought of not being with them. And that's that abandonment fear that you have to work through. So the masculines are lucky because they get to work through it with their feminine. Okay. Yes. So this is a chaser energy. Even though it's Two of Pentacles, which is like a balancing and making a choice between two options. So this is a woman in her house. And you can see there, it smells really good. He loves her pheromones. So she smells so good, and he is chasing her. He's coming up behind her. He's like wanting more. So she's in this beautiful emerald green dress, which represents the heart chakra. She has this really open heart, and she's really loving. And there's a little heart. Can you guys see the heart? So she has all of these spiritual things in her home that they're showing that it's a safe space. So when he's approaching her, he has no idea. Like when he's pursuing her in her place and she's all dressed up and ready, he has no idea what he's about to walk into. He doesn't know that he's opening a door for his own healing through her. So she's like the portal for his healing, which is really, really cool. I like that that message just came through. I've never said it that way. But he's like fully dressed. You see how he's fully dressed in this photo? Before you know it, he's like naked, like, all right, pour everything on me. I'm ready. Like, let me dive into my shit and clear me from this nervousness my whole life, this anxiety my whole life. All of that goes away when you heal. So cute. And there's greenery in both of these. So that's abundance. So when I see the greenery, the plants, that means the universe is going to provide the money for you to seclude, to have this time together. Your bank accounts are going to skyrocket when you come together and when you can finally have that space and time to heal. I know when I was on my healing journey, it started back in 2019. The money always showed up. It was like, if I needed like $100 for a healing session, somebody would book a reading for me that Wednesday before the Friday that I would have the session. And my readings were $100 back then. So it was like perfect. I'd be like, oh, thank you, universe. I needed this because I need to do my healing. I wanted to set myself free and be like her, which all of you guys, you're watching these videos. Every time you watch a video, you're getting a healing too. Don't forget that. All right, let's get a final message for this midweek reading. So masculines are doing their healing. They're coming together with their counterpart. Okay, I love this one too. This is cute. It's like you just stare at each other at dinner. You're breaking bread together, but you can't keep your hands off of each other. It's like food doesn't really exist when you two are together. The passion is so intense because you're really finally, not because you're obsessed with one another and it's toxic, but because you've learned to fill your own cup up, that you feel like you have so much to share with one another. So you could talk for hours, you could sit and not talk for hours, you could have telepathy, you could just literally be in each other's energy and just finally feel that nervousness, that anxiety just kind of dissipate that you've had your whole life. Some of you have had anxiety, I'm hearing, your whole life. And when you meet this person, it's kind of like because you filled your own cup up, it feels like I'm finally settled. Like I'm actually where I'm meant to be. That's the energy that they talk about. And the feminine will feel the peaceful energy first. And then the masculine comes along and then he starts to feel it because he begins his healing with her. And then the final card, which I don't think I can. Yeah, I probably can. I'm going to close the one part, but she's got her hands on his butt and he's just wrapped around her chest. But she has no bottoms. So we're just going to cover her butt, but she's holding his butt. And they are just like a king and queen finally home together, literally just holding each other's soul. So it's not about the butt. I'm mentioning the butt because it's what's inside the body that she's hugging. It's the soul. Your souls cannot get any closer. So you try to like feel as much as you can and you're like, oh, I just want to be in your skin. You see all those TikToks and Instagram reels of people like going up and underneath each other's t-shirts and sweatshirts and hiding in each other because they're just like, I want to get as close as I can to you. And that's the twin flame energy because you're one connection, you're one soul frequency. But this is the King of Wands. So the King of Wands represents, like, not to be TMI, but Wands is the male body part, hint, hint. And he's super, super passionate about her. So she is the only one that can make him feel that way, if you know what I mean, can make him work that way. So that's also an energy of, they say in the twin flame bond that sex never gets boring. It's actually the closer that your souls expand together, the more you heal. So the more you do this, the more passionate you become, because your souls, when your soul is expanding and when you're healing and growing, that's like an orgasm for your soul. Your soul's like, yes, we came here for this feeling. It feels so good. Has nothing to do with sex. But when you're growing and expanding, that is the deepest fulfillment that you could ever feel. So when two people come together with their physical bodies and they are healing and expanding together, the actual physical act of sex becomes better because the inside is better. Hope that makes sense. So a lot of people get worried about commitment, and because most men do, because they're like, man, I got to be with one woman for the rest of my life. But it's actually great because you expand together and it never gets boring. I know a couple people who are in these partnerships and they're just like, Michelle, you're going to love it when you're in one. When you're in yours, you're going to finally feel at home. You're going to finally have that passionate connection where every day is so different. Some days are boring, but other days it's just like when you were first dating again. They say that spark never goes away with this connection. But the most important piece to end this reading is, if your own cup, if you cannot do the self-hugging, if you cannot, like when your partner is triggering you, if you can't self-regulate in that moment, that's what a toxic partnership is going to be like. It's going to be control. It's going to be like possession. You're mine. You can't talk to this person. You can't go here. That's because you have not regulated your inner child. When you can regulate yourself and say, okay, they might not be texting me back, or I see them talking to somebody else. Nothing is happening. I am safe. I am protected. It is okay. I will speak my truth to him later. And you regulate. And then you have the conversation with your partner. If something is triggering you, you work through it. That's the difference between a partnership that is going in a great direction as opposed to a partnership that is unhealed, toxic, and filled with, I'm going to get him back and I'm going to go talk to another guy in front of him. That is not what this reading is about. So be mindful that you're not stepping into a partnership where somebody's doing that. You want full communication. You want to be able to express yourself, and you want to be able to say, hey, I'm not ready to have a conversation. I need to go regulate myself before I come back and talk to you about this. So having that maturity to do that. And let me tell you, when somebody does that, that is like the biggest turn on. The chasing energy comes back and they want to pursue you again because you just have your shit together. You know what you need. You know how to regulate yourself. And that makes a man feel like he doesn't have to, there's no pressure. He can be free in the partnership with you. And women, the most important thing for us as women is to feel safe, to feel protected, to feel seen, to feel held. So it is so important for men to understand that too. If we're talking about men and women, for women, we need to be seen, we need to be heard. And for men, they need to be validated, I guess, admired, or just like respected. They need to know that what they're doing is good. So that is our job. And if they don't know what to do, that's on us, ladies. We have to give them the lay of the land. We have to say, hey, this would make me really happy if you could do this. Then they know what to do. They can provide for you. And then you say, thank you, that felt so good. Now you're acknowledging that they did it well. And it's just this beautiful, harmonious relationship that never stops having that passion. But you have to learn the art of that. And that's one of my specialties. I love teaching women to be more feminine and to honor their masculine and pull him into that masculine energy where he wants to show up for you and he wants to do things and provide and protect you. But sometimes we have to teach them, because we're all different. Each woman, has a different need, has a different childhood. We have different desires. So we have to figure out, I help women figure out what they need Then I teach them how to speak their truth to their partner and ask for it. As I said that, my phone just lit up. So confirmation to end it right there. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell. Again, if you need help with anything that we talked about, if you're feeling that nudge to leave your job and you're scared or you can't hear your intuition, maybe you're going through a divorce or a breakup, these big moments, readings are perfect for them. That's when you should be booking a reading, okay? Because you just need that little bit of somebody to hold your hand. You need spirit to hold your hand. And sometimes we can't pull cards for, like, I don't pull cards for myself. I don't pull cards for myself when I'm in distress, because I'm just going to attract cards that are in distress. And then that freaks me out. So I don't do that. I always go to somebody else and I say, hey, I'm feeling ungrounded. Could you pull some cards for me? So I can be that for all of you. So please utilize me. My sessions right now are only $177. They're normally $222, but they're $177. We do 60 minutes on Zoom together. Or you could just do 30 minutes for $111, and I'll record 30 minutes and then shoot you an email, and then you have it in your inbox and you can just see what your guides and angels are wanting to tell you as you transition through whatever you're going through, because the energy has been intense this week. So please be gentle, meditate, and get your cute heinies out in nature. All right, lovies, I will see you in our weekly energy reading this weekend. All right, peace out.